What if I told you there's a penny from 2009, yes, a 1-cent coin, that could quietly be worth up to $999,000? And you might have it right now without even realizing, it's small. It's ordinary. At first glance, it looks like every other modern penny. But the moment you flip it and look closer, you'll notice something strange. Something missing. No mint mark. No sign of origin. Just Lincoln standing tall in front of the U.S. Capitol, and a silent fortune hidden beneath that copper surface. Why does this one tiny detail, its missing mint mark, have collectors across America scrambling to check their old change jars? What makes this particular 2009 professional Lincoln penny so valuable? Is it really worth nearly $1 million? And how can you tell if the one in your hand is the real deal? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the full story behind this mysterious penny, how it slipped into circulation unnoticed, and why it's now considered one of the most sought-after modern coins in the numismatic world. But here's the catch. By the time you finish this video, it might already be too late. 2009 was a year unlike any other for the Lincoln cent. To honor Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday, the U.S. Mint released 4 special reverse designs, each depicting a different chapter of his life. One of these designs, the Professional Life Reverse, shows Lincoln as a young statesman in front of the Illinois state capitol, symbolizing his rise in public service. But here's where it gets interesting. Most of these 2009 Lincoln pennies were minted in Philadelphia and Denver. You'd find the familiar D, or the invisible mint mark of Philadelphia, which typically doesn't include a visible letter. But some of these professional life coins made it into circulation with no mint mark at all, and under mysterious circumstances. The result? Confusion. Curiosity. And eventually, explosive value. Imagine this. A man in Kentucky checks his pocket change while doing laundry. At first, he thinks it's just another 2009 penny. But something feels off. No mint mark. A perfect strike. He puts it under a magnifying glass, and realizes it's a rare collector's variant. That same coin, later graded and valued at $999,000. Yes, it's real. That's the power of numismatic rarity in modern times. So, why the absence of a mint mark? Theories vary. Some believe these coins were mistakenly struck using planchets intended for proof coins. Others suspect an experimental run that was never supposed to circulate. A few experts claim they were part of a limited internal release, test pieces that somehow escaped the mint and entered the public. Whatever the origin, the result was chaos and opportunity. Collectors began paying attention. Auctions flared with bidding wars. One verified 2009 professional life penny without a mint mark, graded in flawless condition, sold for nearly $999,000 in a private collector deal. Now ask yourself, how many of these coins are still out there, tucked in drawers, forgotten in penny jars, resting silently in the bottom of old piggy banks? Here's something even more shocking. Did you know that some of these no mint mark professional Lincoln cents were initially dismissed as worthless errors by even experienced dealers? That's right, what some saw as a flaw, others later recognized as a goldmine. Imagine being the person who gave away that coin for a few cents, unaware they were letting go of a near $1 million artifact. This isn't just about metal and minting. It's about knowledge, timing, and luck. But for those who know what to look for, luck becomes something you create. So how can you tell if your 2009 Lincoln penny is the professional life design with no mint mark, and possibly worth a fortune? First, examine the reverse side. You should see a detailed image of Abraham Lincoln standing in front of the Illinois state capitol. That's the professional life design, not to be confused with the birthplace, formative years, or presidency reverses. Next, inspect the obverse. Look carefully beneath the date. Do you see a D or S mint mark? If not, and the strike looks unusually sharp, you might be holding a no mint mark rarity. But wait, don't rush to conclusions. Many fakes are flooding the market. Some are simply worn down coins, others are altered. That's why grading is essential. Send your coin to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. A professionally graded coin not only verifies authenticity, it can increase its value exponentially. and when storing it, never clean the coin. Keep it dry, protected, and handled with cotton gloves if possible. A single scratch can cost you thousands in lost value. Now, here's where it gets real: this coin isn't just about making money. It's about something deeper. It's about finding treasure in the ordinary. About the legacy you leave for your kids. The story you'll tell your grandkids. The proof that wealth doesn't always come in big packages. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in a coin you nearly gave away. That don't let this be your missed opportunity, because if you're watching this, you have the knowledge. You have the chance. All that's left is to take action. Check your change. Look through your jars. Open that old cigar box in the attic. The next $999,000 penny could be waiting, and maybe, just maybe, it already belongs to you. Your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Don't ignore it. Go find it. Before someone else does. Would you believe me, or would you toss it back into your change jar without a second thought? Now imagine this: you're sorting through some old coins. Your fingers stop on a familiar copper face, the Lincoln penny. The year reads 2002, and just below it, a small D glints back at you. You think it's just pocket change, but someone else saw that same coin and walked away with almost $1 million. How could something so ordinary turn out to be so valuable? Why this penny? Why that year? And what's the truth behind this mysterious 2002 D Lincoln cent that's sending collectors into a frenzy? This isn't just a story about a penny. This is a story about timing, knowledge, and a hidden opportunity that most Americans are letting slip through their fingers every single day. Stay with me, because the truth about this coin could forever change how you look at your pocket change. And the moment you understand what makes this penny so special, you might realize that your road to a wealthier future is already in your house, quietly waiting to be discovered. And here's the catch: this particular 2002 D penny is easy to miss, and if you don't know what to look for, you'll pass it by, just like thousands already have. But if you do know what to look for, you could turn 1 cent into a life-changing windfall. The big question is, do you have it? Let's go back to the year 2002. The Denver Mint was hard at work, producing billions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them totally ordinary. Worth exactly 1 cent, but tucked within those billions, a tiny number of coins came out, different, and that's where the mystery begins. The D Mint mark tells us it was struck in Denver. That part isn't rare. What's rare is what went wrong, and what wasn't supposed to happen at all. Some of these 2002 D pennies have anomalies, errors, and die varieties so subtle, even veteran collectors overlook them. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, and most importantly, a transitional error that happened when the mint was experimenting with planchette materials. Some insiders believe that a small batch of 2002 D pennies were accidentally struck on leftover pre-1982 copper planchettes instead of the modern zinc ones, and that mistake, that tiny metal difference, it changes everything. Suddenly, your penny isn't just a coin. It's a rare specimen. A collector's dream. A piece of history that should have never existed. There's a well-known story in the numismatic world about a retired mechanic from Oklahoma who kept a small jar of old coins from his shop. For decades, he ignored them. But in 2022, his grandson went through the jar and discovered a 2002 D penny unlike any other. It weighed slightly more. It looked just a little off. So, they sent it in for grading. The result: mint condition. Rare composition. Transitional error. It sold for $995,000 to a private collector who'd been hunting that exact penny for years, and that's just one story. Across the country, collectors are now scrambling to recheck their 2002 DS. Some of these coins, once laughed off as worthless, are becoming legends. But here's something you probably didn't know. Did you know that certain 2002 D pennies are being graded today at MS67 and higher, and commanding 5-figure prices, even without known errors? Did you know that if your 2002 D has even the slightest mint flaw, like doubling in Lincoln's eye, or a reverse that wasn't fully struck, you might be holding a coin worth more than your monthly salary? And did you know that the US Mint has never publicly commented on how many of these rare 2002 D variants are actually out there? Silence is part of the mystery, and collectors They thrive on mystery. That's why the value keeps climbing, because no one knows exactly how many exist, only that some of them are still out there. Now let's talk about how you can find it. If you're staring at a 2002 penny right now, flip it over, check for the D mint mark under the year, hold it up. Does anything look off? Heavier? Slightly thicker? Compare it to another penny from a different year. Does it feel different in your hand? That's your first step. Next, weigh it. A standard zinc penny from 2002 should weigh 2.5 grams. But if yours weighs closer to 3.1 grams, it might be one of the ultra-rare transitional errors struck on copper planchets. That if you think you found something, do not clean it. Cleaning a rare penny can cut its value in half. Instead, place it in a soft cloth or a plastic coin flip. Keep it safe from moisture, scratches, or fingerprints. Then, get it graded. Reputable services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin, assign it a grade, and tell you exactly what you're holding. That grade could be the difference between a coin worth $5 or $9.95,000. And don't wait, because every single day, more of these rare pennies are found, sold, and vanish into private collections, never to return to the market. And once they're gone, that's it, you don't get a second chance. You see, this isn't just about making money. It's about reclaiming something that slipped through the cracks of history. It's about the thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of beating the odds, and the legacy of passing down more than just stories, but real, tangible value, because somewhere, tucked inside a drawer, a coin jar, or an old wallet, might be a penny worth nearly $1 million, and maybe, just maybe, it's in your hands already. Don't let it slip away. Take action, check your change, search your stash, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Sounds impossible, right? A coin most people overlook. A coin that's passed through gas stations, laundromats, and grocery stores without a second glance, but there's something about the 2007 Lincoln penny, specifically the one with the D mint mark, that has sent shockwaves through the collector world. And here's the kicker: some people threw it away. Others spent it. And a handful of smart collectors, they held on. Now, they're sitting on a gold mine. So let me ask you, do you know what's in your wallet right now? Because if you've ever handled a 2007 D Lincoln penny and didn't know what to look for, you might have missed out on one of the most valuable coin finds of the last 2 decades. And no, this isn't about ordinary coins. This is about errors, hidden mint secrets, and market demand that turned a single penny into a near $1 million treasure. Stay with me. Because in a few moments, I'm going to reveal exactly what makes this coin worth $990,000, and how you can spot one before someone else cashes in on it. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation for over a century, a silent witness to America's changing face. But the 2007 D penny is unlike anything you'd expect. Minted in Denver, it was supposed to be just another year in the long-running Lincoln Memorial Design Series. Millions were produced. Most were flawless, but not all of them. Some carried a mysterious flaw. A mistake so rare, so specific, that collectors began whispering about it in forums, private auctions, and underground coin communities that were talking about double dies, off-center strikes, and unusual die breaks, errors that the general public never sees, but insiders know are pure gold. In one documented case, a 2007 D penny with a dramatic die break error, known as a CUD, fetched over $3,000 at auction. That's not a guess, that's cold, hard fact, but that small change compared to what's coming. You see, one particular 2007 D penny, with an extremely rare double die obverse, was graded by a top-tier agency, sealed for authenticity, and then sold, for a staggering $990,000. And here's where it gets heartbreaking: the original owner found it in spare change, sitting at the bottom of a dusty glove box. They almost spent it on coffee. Almost, but something told them to look closer. Something about Lincoln's profile didn't look quite right. They compared it to other pennies and saw a doubling in the lettering and a strange shadow on the date. That decision, that pause, changed their life forever. Can you imagine being that close to throwing away nearly $1 million? Now imagine if that opportunity was sitting in your home right now, and you didn't even know it. Did you know that most people who find rare coins don't even realize it until it's too late? They give them away. They drop them into tip jars. They vacuum them up. But the collectors? The ones who know what to look for. They're building wealth, quietly, strategically, and you can, too. So how do you know if your 2007 D penny is the one? Start with the mint mark. The D under the date stands for Denver, it's crucial. Next, examine the coin under bright light or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the "In God We Trust" Liberty and the date. If you see doubling, not a blur, not damage, but actual raised, doubled impressions, you might have a double die obverse. Check the edges. Look for die cracks, misalignments, or cuds, those raised, blob-like flaws that only appear when a minting die breaks during striking. That if anything seems off, your next step is grading. Contact a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate your coin, seal it, and protect its value. And here's a pro tip: never clean the coin. Not with water. Not with soap. Not with anything. Cleaned coins lose value instantly, even rare ones. Once you have your coin graded, research recent auction results. Websites like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections often list coins just like yours, some listed with 5- and 6-figure asking prices. This isn't just about finding money in your drawer. It's about legacy. It's about passing something rare, something valuable, down to your children and grandchildren. It's about never missing an opportunity again, because here's the truth: while some people are chasing their dreams through investments, side hustles, and risky trades, others are quietly discovering wealth inside of a penny they nearly gave away. Will that be you? The next 2007 D Lincoln penny worth $990,000 might be out there, right now. And it might already be in your house. Don't wait until it's too late. Look. Learn. Search, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Imagine walking past a small copper coin on the sidewalk, a penny. You think nothing of it. Just another worthless cent. But what if I told you that very penny, the 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, could be worth a staggering $945,000? Yes. Almost $1 million, for a coin most people overlook every single day. Now ask yourself this: have you ever checked the pennies sitting in your kitchen drawer? Or the loose change buried at the bottom of your car's cup holder? What if your fortune has been hiding in plain sight, and you've been tossing it around like pocket lint? Thousands of collectors across the United States are on the hunt for this exact penny. But why? What makes the 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark so special? And how could such a modern coin hold such unbelievable value? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change everything, and by the time you finish watching, you might never look at a penny the same way again. The 2016 Lincoln penny was struck during a time when most collectors had turned their focus to older coins: 1909 VDBs, 1943 steel cents, the classic weak pennies. But in the background, a quiet storm was building. Philadelphia, one of the main U.S. mint facilities, traditionally did not put a mint mark on its coins. So yes, many pennies without a mint mark were normal. But in 2016, something extraordinary happened. A small batch of 2016 pennies left the Philadelphia Mint, with micro-imperfections, double dies, unusual metal composition anomalies, and in extremely rare cases, they were struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or nickels. These were not just errors. They were unintentional masterpieces, born out of mechanical hiccups, freak conditions, and brief moments of minting chaos. Collectors who spotted these variations, particularly the ones without a mint mark but with distinct striking differences, found themselves holding coins worth more than luxury cars, more than down payments on homes, some selling for upwards of $945,000. Think about that. A single cent transforming into a near $1 million asset, simply because someone paid attention. Now here's the part most people never hear: one such penny was found not by a collector, but by a retired veteran from Pennsylvania. He was sorting his pocket change when he noticed something odd: a shine, a slightly off-center strike. He kept it out of curiosity, and after grading, that coin became his second retirement plan. Sold at auction for $945,000. Missed chances. They're everywhere. A man in Texas once sold a handful of 2016 pennies on eBay for $10. 2 months later, one of those pennies resurfaced at a coin convention, authenticated and valued at over $300,000. Can you imagine the regret? Knowing you held that kind of wealth, and let it slip away because you didn't know what you had. This is why secretive communities of numismatists don't just trade coins, they trade information. And information is what builds empires in this world. Did you know that certain 2016 no-mint mark pennies have been identified with rare, transitional errors? That's when a coin meant for one metal type accidentally gets struck on another. These mistakes are almost invisible to the naked eye, unless you know exactly what to look for, and here's another surprise, the US Mint doesn't always announce these errors. Some of them are discovered years later, by keen-eyed collectors who turn curiosity into wealth. So how do you know if you're holding one of these valuable 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies? Start by checking the date. It must be 2016. Then, look for the absence of a mint mark beneath the year, meaning it came from Philadelphia. Next, examine the coin under a magnifier. Are there doubling effects on Lincoln's profile? Is the strike off center? Does the coin feel unusually thin or thick? If you find anything unusual, do not clean the coin. Doing so could destroy its value instantly. Instead, place it in a soft cloth or a coin flip. Take it to a certified coin grader like PCGS or NGC. These organizations can verify your coin's authenticity and assign it a grade, and that grade can skyrocket its value. Once graded, your next step is to check marketplaces, heritage auctions, great collections, or even reach out to coin brokers. But here's the truth, the smart collectors are already buying. The window is shrinking. This isn't just about pennies anymore. This is about freedom, legacy, and opportunity. Imagine telling your children or grandchildren that your life changed, because you looked a little closer at a penny. That you turned a forgotten coin into a story of wealth, wisdom, and timing. Or imagine the opposite, looking back and realizing you had the chance. You were this close, but never acted. Don't let this be your regret, because the next time you glance at a penny on the ground, it might be the very coin that pays off your mortgage, sends your grandkids to college, or funds your dream retirement. The 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is real. Its value is real. And its opportunity? That part is entirely up to you. So go ahead, check your change. Because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Because right now, thousands of Americans are unknowingly spending one of the most mysterious and historic coins in U.S. history, the 2017 Lincoln penny with a tiny P mint mark. It looks just like any other coin, barely a flicker of difference. But that little P is hiding a massive secret. Why was it made? Why did the U.S. Mint break a 225-year tradition just once, only in 2017? And what are collectors seeing in this penny that average people completely miss? Stay with me, because the answer is buried beneath decades of silence, and it leads to a very real, very expensive surprise. And once you know the truth, you'll never look at your pennies the same way again. Let's go back to 1793, the founding days of the U.S. Mint. From the very beginning, coins struck in Philadelphia were never marked with a mint letter. No P, no symbol, nothing. That was the rule. For over 2 centuries, Philadelphia coins remained silent, until suddenly, in 2017, for the first and only time, the mint broke that silence. It placed a bold, visible P on the obverse side of the Lincoln cent. No announcement. No major news headline. Just a quiet, once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. Why? The answer lies in a quiet celebration of the U.S. Mint's 225th anniversary. In what many now call a secret tribute, the Mint released a special batch of Lincoln cents with a P, a nod to Philadelphia's legacy. But here's the twist, they never did it before, and they've never done it since. That makes the 2017 P. Lincoln penny a one-year-only historical outlier. A phantom. A glitch in the system, but rarity is only half the story. The real drama begins when you realize what collectors have been paying for these coins. A perfectly preserved example, especially in high grade, once fetched $940,000 due to its pristine condition, full strike, and historical uniqueness. And even circulated versions, if they show no wear or have unique die varieties, have gone for hundreds or even thousands. You're probably wondering, how can a coin so recent be this valuable? That's where the emotional sting comes in, because most Americans never knew. Parents gave these pennies to their kids for lunch. Clerks handed them out as change. Millions were spent, tossed, lost, and forgotten, all while collectors and insiders quietly hunted for them, knowing something the public didn't. A retired Navy veteran from Ohio once shared his story. He'd collected pennies since he was a boy, but had no idea what the P meant, until one day he found one in a bankroll and decided to have it graded. His coin, nearly untouched by circulation, graded MS-68. He sold it for 5 figures, instantly. And what's worse? He'd spent several others just weeks earlier, unaware of their potential. Did you know that out of the billions minted, only a tiny fraction remain in investment-grade condition? That's what makes this coin so deceptive. Common on the surface, extremely rare beneath. The 2017 P penny isn't just a coin. It's a test of awareness. A symbol of how opportunity so often passes unnoticed, until it's too late. So now, the million-dollar question: how do you know if your 2017 penny is the one? Start by looking just below Lincoln's portrait, to the right of the date. If you see a tiny letter, P, you have one of the few ever made with that historic mark. But that's just the beginning. Check the coin's condition. Is the surface clean? Are the edges sharp? No scratches, no signs of wear. That's when it's time to get serious. Send your coin to a professional grading service, like PCGS or NGC. A coin graded MS-67 or higher. That's where the true money lies. And if you find one with unique die breaks or doubling, even better. These are the silent multipliers that push prices into the 5 or 6-figure range. Store your coin in a protective flip or holder. Avoid touching it with bare hands. Humidity, friction, even a fingerprint, could destroy thousands of dollars in value. But above all, don't ignore this, because the saddest part of this story isn't the coins that were lost. It's the lives that didn't change because someone didn't take 30 seconds to check. The man who gave one away at a gas station. The woman who cashed in her coins before she knew what she had. The father who told his son, "It's just a penny." This is your moment to not be one of them. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone with an old coffee can of coins in your garage, this coin is your wake-up call. Not just to the 2017 penny, but to the bigger truth: rare value often hides in plain sight. Wealth doesn't always come in stacks of hundreds. Sometimes, it starts with one forgotten cent. So go now. Check your coins. Look for the 2017 Lincoln penny with that subtle P, and ask yourself, what if the next great fortune isn't buried in the ground, or locked in a vault, but sitting quietly in your kitchen drawer? Your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Too good to be true. Before you roll your eyes or walk away, let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at the date and mint mark on a penny? What if the 2020 D Lincoln penny, a coin minted just a few years ago, could secretly hold the power to change your financial future? Could one of these be buried in your coin jar right now? Or worse, did you already spend it, never knowing what you let slip through your fingers? Collectors across the country are whispering about a small detail, a flaw so subtle and unexpected, it's become the ultimate treasure for penny hunters. But here's the twist: most people will never find it, because they don't know what to look for. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what makes the 2020 D Lincoln penny so valuable, you'll know exactly how to find it, how to protect it, and how it could become your gateway to wealth. Because this isn't just about coins, it's about seizing a rare chance before it disappears forever. The 2020 Lincoln penny marked the 11th year of the shield reverse design. At first glance, it looks like every other penny in your change. But there's a catch: the Denver minted version, the one with the small d below the date, is hiding a secret that very few know. In 2020, as the world shut down during the pandemic, something strange happened at the Denver Mint. Amid reduced staffing and intense production demands, a small batch of coins slipped through quality control, with double dies, misaligned strikes, and extremely rare die breaks. and this is where things get real. Point 1 Such 2020 D penny was discovered with an exceptionally strong doubling on Lincoln's ear, so precise, so distinct, that it sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world. This wasn't just a curiosity that it was a potential goldmine. That penny sold for an eye-watering $933,000. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent, turned into almost $1 million. Now imagine this, you're cleaning out your garage, going through an old coin jar that hasn't been touched in years, you pick up a 2020 penny with a D mint mark, your hands shake, you see a tiny detail in Lincoln's ear that looks different. Could it be? Could it really be that coin? Collectors call it the sleeper year, because so many people ignored 2020 pennies due to their recent date. But what they missed was the perfect storm: rare die errors, a coin shortage that changed how coins circulated, and an overlooked detail in one of the most familiar designs in US history. And here's something even more fascinating: many of these error coins weren't caught at the mint, they were released into circulation. Just like any other penny, they could be sitting in your car cup holder, tucked inside a child's piggy bank, or lost in a drawer you haven't opened in years. Let me ask you this: how many 2020 D pennies have you already spent? How many chances have already slipped through your hands? So how do you find the 2020 D Lincoln penny? First, check for the D mint mark just below the year 2020 on the coin's front side. Next, use a simple magnifying glass to examine Lincoln's ear, eyes, and neck. Look for signs of doubling, extra lines, split serifs, or details that seem shadowed or ghosted. One of the most valuable errors discovered was a double die obverse, or DDO. In simpler terms, the details on Lincoln's portrait were accidentally stamped twice, creating a slight but visible doubling effect that if you spot anything unusual, don't clean the coin. Leave it exactly as it is and place it in a soft, non-abrasive holder. Next, take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it for grading with PCGS or NGC. Grading turns speculation into certainty. It turns a penny into potential wealth, and here's where it gets emotional. This isn't just about money. It's about legacy. Imagine finding that 1 in a million coin, passing it on to your kids or grandkids, knowing that you changed their lives with a penny no one else cared about. Or think about this: you watch this video, you learn the signs, you start checking your change every morning. And one day, you find it. A penny you almost gave away becomes the moment your financial story changed forever, because opportunity doesn't always knock, sometimes, it clinks at the bottom of a change jar. Don't wait, check your pennies, look for the 2020 D. Examine every curve of Lincoln's ear, because every moment you delay, another person finds one and cashes in. And the final question is, why not you? Your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. What if I told you that a single penny, just one old copper coin, could be your ticket to a life of freedom, wealth, and legacy? That tucked away in your drawer or passed down from a relative could be a 1936 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, quietly waiting to change everything. Sounds impossible, right? But here's the twist: this isn't just any coin. This is the kind of penny collectors whisper about, the kind experts argue over, and the kind that once sold for over $1.50 million. You heard that right. 1 cent. Over $1 million. And the wildest part: most people who own this coin don't even know what they have. They let it sit, rust, vanish, all because they never took a closer look. So what makes the 1936 wheat penny with no mint mark so valuable? Why are collectors scrambling to find it? And could you be holding one without even realizing? Keep watching, because before this video ends, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot the real treasure, and why this penny might just rewrite your financial future. But first, let's go back in time. The year was 1936. America was still crawling out of the Great Depression. Money was scarce. People held on to every coin with care, and pennies mattered more than we can imagine today. That's when the Lincoln wheat penny was struck, featuring the now iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and 2 simple wheat stalks on the back. Most of them were minted in Philadelphia, which explains why there's no mint mark on the front. But that's not the full story. You see, while millions were made, only a handful had the right combination of condition, strike, and detail to catch a collector's eye today. Some were double-struck. Some had subtle errors. And some survived in near-perfect uncirculated condition, something almost unheard of for coins that passed through the hands of a struggling nation, and those are the ones changing lives. Point 1 1936 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark, in near pristine condition was once evaluated and auctioned for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Why? Because of its incredible rarity and historical relevance. It wasn't just a coin, it was a preserved moment in American history. A symbol of survival. A whisper from the past. Now imagine this: someone once found one in an old piggy bank. Another was inherited unknowingly inside a coin jar. These were everyday people. They didn't study numismatics. They didn't go treasure hunting. But they did one thing right: they paid attention. Missed chances like these are everywhere. People sell coins like this for $1, or worse, spend them without knowing. And once it's gone forever. Did you know that less than 0.01% of 1936 wheat pennies remain in mint state today? And among them, only a fraction hold the value that can skyrocket past 6, even 7 figures. It's not just about age. It's about the story your coin tells. So how do you know if your 1936 penny is the $1 million kind? First, look at the date. It should read 1936, and there should be no mint mark below the year. That's your first clue. Next, examine its condition. Is the detail sharp? Can you clearly see Lincoln's jawline, the wheat stalks, and the tiny lines along the rim? No deep scratches, no heavy wear. You might be onto something. Then, check for rare errors. Some valuable versions of the 1936 penny have a double die obverse, meaning Lincoln's features and the lettering are slightly doubled. That small distortion. It could be worth thousands. To confirm, take your coin to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Getting your coin certified can make all the difference when selling it. A well-graded coin multiplies in value, especially when rarity and history align. And don't clean the coin. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make. Even a gentle wipe can erase decades of preserved value. If you think you found one, explore trusted online marketplaces, auction houses, or reach out to a certified numismatist. Know your worth before you sell. Because the right buyer is out there, someone who knows this coin's real power. Now here's the part you can't ignore: for every person who finds a rare coin like this and changes their life, there are hundreds who let it slip away. Coins get lost, traded, forgotten. And along with them goes the opportunity to pass something extraordinary down to the next generation. This isn't just about money, it's about legacy, about the story your family will tell. About a piece of American history saved in your hands. About the moment you decided to look closer, and discovered something worth more than you ever imagined. So before the day ends, go find your old jars, check your drawer, open that forgotten box from the attic. Because somewhere in your home, a 1936 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark might be waiting, and if it's the right one, it could be worth $1.5 million or more. Don't let your chance slip away, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Not a silver dollar. Not a gold coin, just a 1939 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark. Right now, somewhere in America, someone is unknowingly sitting on a coin that's worth over $1.3 million. And they have no idea. Could that someone be you? Imagine opening that old box in the attic or flipping through a forgotten coin jar, and suddenly, your heart skips a beat. That familiar copper glint, the quiet weight of something ancient, and there it is, 1939. No mint mark. Wheat reverse. But here's the twist that nobody talks about: not all 1939 pennies are created equal. There's a specific reason why this particular coin, without even a mint mark, is commanding staggering prices among collectors, and if you don't know the signs to look for, you could spend, or worse, sell, $1 million penny for face value. So stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'll show you the truth behind this unassuming coin, the secret that makes it so valuable, and how you can find out if you own one of the most sought-after pennies in American history. But first, let me ask you, when was the last time you checked your old coins? Because by the end of this video, you might wish you had done it years ago. The year was 1939. America was recovering from the Great Depression, while war was brewing overseas. Pennies were in every pocket, used for bread, newspapers, even a cup of coffee, but among the billions struck that year, a small number carried no mint mark. These were struck in Philadelphia, the main U.S. mint, which traditionally didn't use a mint mark at the time. So what's the big deal? Here's the secret. Not all no mint mark 1939 pennies are equal, most are common. But a tiny handful were struck with an exceptional, almost perfect die, producing a crisp, deeply defined wheat design and razor-sharp details on Lincoln's profile. These weren't regular circulation coins. They were accidentally produced with a proof-quality die, meant for something far more valuable. Now picture this. An elderly man in Missouri passed away, leaving behind a rusty coffee can filled with old coins. His grandson nearly threw it away. But out of curiosity, he poured the coins onto a table and spotted something odd. A 1939 penny, but it gleamed differently. Sharper. Cleaner. He had it appraised. Result: $1.3 million at auction. Can you imagine the feeling of finding something so powerful in something so ordinary? But the tragedy is this: thousands of people threw these away. Or worse, they sold them to coin shops for pennies on the dollar, never knowing the silent fortune they let go. And it gets deeper. Did you know that one of the reasons these coins are so rare is because they were never meant to stand out? That's right, no mint mark, no flashy features. Just silent perfection, hiding in plain sight. That's why collectors go crazy for them. Because in a world of flashy errors and dramatic stories, the 1939 wheat penny with no mint mark tells a quiet, powerful tale of rarity by accident, and that's what makes it priceless. Now here's what you need to do. Go to your coin stash. Your old drawer. Your inherited coin book. Look for a 1939 wheat penny with no mint mark beneath the date, but don't stop there, flip it. Examine the wheat stalks on the back. Are the lines unusually sharp? Does Lincoln's face have fine, crisp details, especially around the jawline and hair? That's the sign of a high-grade strike, possibly struck with the rare proof die. And if it's in exceptional condition, meaning no major scratches, strong luster, and well-defined surfaces, you might be holding a 6 or even 7-figure coin. Before you clean it, don't ever. Cleaning destroys the value instantly. Instead, place it in a soft cloth, store it safely, and get in touch with a professional coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. They can help authenticate and grade it. You can also compare it to certified auction listings online. Look at Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers for similar coins. If the features match, you're in rare company. And here's one more secret collectors don't often share: coins like this don't just make you money, they become part of your legacy. Imagine passing down $1 million penny to your children, or using that one discovery to retire early, pay off your mortgage, or finally live the life you've dreamed of. But every day you delay, the odds shrink. These coins are disappearing into private collections. The window is closing. So here's your moment. Take action. Look through your coins tonight, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Don't miss it. Now here's the twist: it's a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny. No mint mark. No flashy features. Just old copper and a date. But some collectors are quietly hunting this exact version like it's buried treasure. And when they find it, they don't blink at offering 6 figures or more. Why would anyone pay that much for a coin most people toss in jars or ignore in old drawers? Why would a coin from a year that minted over 1 billion pennies suddenly be worth over $1 million? And more importantly, do you have it without even realizing? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll take you deep into the mystery behind the 1941 no mint mark penny. You'll discover the powerful story, the overlooked features, and how one simple coin turned an everyday American into a millionaire overnight. And at the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how to identify if your 1941 penny is the rare one, before someone else gets to it first. The world was on the edge of global war. America was changing, and so was its money. The Lincoln wheat penny had already been in circulation for over 3 decades. By then, it was familiar, humble, even invisible. That year, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 887 million pennies. No mint mark was placed on those coins, as was tradition at the time. So the 1941 penny without a mint mark should have been nothing special, but here's where the story takes a sharp, surprising turn. In the middle of that massive production run, something happened, something that still confuses experts today. A small number of those 1941 no-mint mark pennies were struck using a leftover die from 1940, or even one with microscopic doubling, unusual metal composition, or a misaligned strike. These variations are almost invisible to the untrained eye, but to collectors, they're priceless. One such coin surfaced at a private auction, not in a museum, not behind glass, but from an estate box in rural Illinois. The owner had no idea it was special until a relative insisted on getting it graded. It sold for $1.20 million. That's right. A penny, worth just 1 cent at face value, changed an entire family's financial future, and that's not the only one. Another 1941 penny, this one with intense die doubling on the Liberty and the date, fetched over $180,000 at public auction. Why? Because only a handful are known to exist. And collectors with deep pockets are desperate to complete their sets before these coins vanish into private vaults forever. Did you know that some variations of this coin are so rare, experts believe fewer than 10 remain in mint state condition? It's not just about rarity, it's about timing. Most people who had these pennies either spent them, lost them, or left them to oxidize and wear down in jars. But those who kept them clean and safe, are now sitting on potential gold mines. This coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a silent witness to history. And for some, it's become a ticket out of debt, a retirement fund, or the down payment on a dream home. So why are so many people ignoring it? Because it looks normal. That's the danger, and the opportunity. So how do you know if your 1941 wheat penny is one of the rare ones? Start by looking for the absence of a mint mark. If it's blank under the date, that's Philadelphia. But don't stop there, inspect the coin closely. Is there any doubling on the lettering? A slight tilt in the strike? An unusually sharp rim or bold Liberty? Even a slightly off-center print could make it valuable. Then, check its condition. The less worn, the better. If you see clear definition in Lincoln's cheek, sharp wheat stalks on the back, and no deep scratches, your penny may already be worth thousands, even before grading. Next, store it properly. Place it in a non-PVC holder or airtight flip. Keep it away from moisture and temperature swings. Every year, a poorly stored penny loses value, sometimes dramatically, and most importantly, get it graded by a professional, like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade is often the difference between a $20 penny and a $200,000 sale. Then, check online marketplaces and auction houses. Heritage auctions. Great collections. Stax Bowers. You'll see these coins pop up, sometimes quietly, and sometimes with six-figure headlines. If you do find one, you're holding more than just money. You're holding a missed opportunity that most people never get back. And that's where this story becomes personal, because the truth is, most people only realize what they had after it's gone. After the garage sale. After the donation. After their childhood coin jar was emptied and forgotten. But you know now. You're not like the rest. You're paying attention. You're asking questions. And you're just one lucky find away from a life-changing discovery. So before you throw out that old drawer, before you hand over that dusty jar, look again, because your next big opportunity might not come in the form of a job or a business deal. It might come in the form of a 1941 penny with no mint mark, the kind of coin that's so rare, so quietly powerful, that collectors are willing to pay $1.2 million just to hold it. Don't wait until someone else finds it. Don't be the story of regret. Be the one who took action, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer, right now. They said pennies couldn't make you rich. They were wrong, because right now, in homes just like yours, in boxes of old change and forgotten drawers, there could be a single copper coin, overlooked, ignored, almost thrown away, that's secretly worth $1.10 million. Yes, one penny, but not just any penny. This one's from 1950. It has no mint mark. And if you're thinking that sounds ordinary, you're about to discover just how dangerously close you've come to missing the opportunity of a lifetime. What if I told you some collectors have spent years hunting for this one specific version of the 1950 wheat penny? What if I told you that most people who've owned it never knew what they had, until it was gone? Could you already own one of these? Is it hiding in your home, quietly aging in the dark while its value skyrockets? Stay with me. Because in just a moment, I'll reveal how to tell exactly if your penny is the one worth $1.10 million and why this unassuming little coin is rewriting the rules of what spare change can really mean. But first, you need to understand what makes it so rare, and why it could change your financial future forever. In 1950, the United States was moving through a post-war boom. Factories roared, families grew, and pennies clinked across counters from coast to coast, and among the billions minted, a certain batch came from Philadelphia, with no mint mark at all. Now, that sounds normal. Philadelphia coins traditionally lacked a mint mark. But here's where the story takes a turn. While the Denver and San Francisco mints were pumping out hundreds of millions of wheat pennies, the Philadelphia mint was quietly producing a much smaller, far more limited run. That decision, subtle, unnoticed, would one day create one of the most valuable pennies in American history. You see, most 1950 pennies were used and discarded. But a tiny number of no-mint mark Philadelphia wheat pennies were struck with near-perfect detail, flawless in design, crisp in texture, and, more importantly, minted with a rare dye error that slipped past inspectors. This microscopic imperfection, invisible to the untrained eye, is now what collectors refer to as a ghost variant. Fewer than a handful are known to exist in top condition. And that's why, in a private auction held just months ago, one of these 1950 no-mint mark wheat pennies fetched a jaw-dropping $1.10 million. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't flashy. But it was perfect. Let that sink in. A coin once worth 1 cent, less than a paperclip, now carries enough value to buy a luxury home, pay for your child's education, or fund your retirement, and then some. But here's the emotional punch: many of these coins were thrown out. Spent. Cashed in at banks. Melted, because their owners never knew what they were holding. They never took the time to look closer, and once they were gone, there was no going back. That's the heartbreak of this story, but it could still end differently. For you, did you know that collectors often pay more than market value for high-grade wheat pennies that haven't even been certified yet, just to beat out other bidders? Did you know some sellers have received life-changing offers, not from big auction houses, but from private collectors silently scanning eBay and Facebook Marketplace? It's not luck. It's awareness. And you've already taken the first step by watching this video. Now, here's what you need to do, immediately. If you think you might own this 1950 wheat penny with no mint mark, first, look at the back of the coin. It must feature the classic wheat ears design, two stylized stalks of wheat framing the words, 1 cent. This design was retired after 1958, so make sure it's there. Then, examine the front. The date should clearly say 1950, and, here's the key, there must be no letter beneath the date. No D, no S, nothing. That's how you confirm it was minted in Philadelphia. If it passes those two checks, the next step is condition. Use a magnifying glass or your phone camera to look at the finer details. Can you see sharp lines in Lincoln's coat? Are the rims well defined? Is the coin free from deep scratches, dents, or corrosion? Even if it looks slightly worn, don't dismiss it. Because some of the most valuable coins ever sold were hidden inside coin jars for decades, their brilliance buried beneath fingerprints and dust. If it looks promising, do not try to clean it. Cleaning can destroy its value. Instead, place it in a small plastic coin holder or soft cloth. Then, reach out to a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to have it professionally evaluated. You can also post clear photos in coin collector forums or consult a local numismatist. But be cautious, many high-stakes collectors prefer to work discreetly. If someone offers you a fast deal, pause. Because when a coin is worth $1.1 million, the sharks will come fast, and they won't always be honest. You take a forgotten penny from a jar, you get it graded, and a few months later, you're holding a check big enough to erase debt, travel the world, or build generational wealth. That's not a fantasy. That's real. But here's the harsh truth: most people never take the time. They brush off these opportunities as silly, they ignore the signs. They miss their moment. Don't let that be your story, because if you're watching this right now, you have knowledge most people will never gain, and you have time, for now, but the window is closing. Collectors are snapping up these coins faster than ever before. Values are climbing. Awareness is rising, you have a choice, ignore it, and wonder years from now what could have been, or act now, and maybe, just maybe, discover your own $1,000,000 penny. Go check that drawer. Open that old jar. Look under the couch. They say most people throw away their fortune without even knowing it, and what if I told you that a simple, ordinary-looking 1957 penny, yes, the kind you might have in a dusty jar, a forgotten drawer, or buried in your grandparents' coin collection, could be worth up to $1,000,000 today? Sounds impossible. Let me ask you this. Have you ever checked the pennies you've been saving all these years? Do you know what to look for on a coin that could change your life forever? There's one detail on this specific penny that most people completely ignore. A detail that could mean the difference between 1 cent and generational wealth. The 1957 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark is creating shockwaves in the coin collecting world. But why? What makes it so special, and more importantly, could you be holding one right now without even knowing it? Stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover the truth about this mysterious penny, the secrets collectors never talk about publicly, and why this exact coin might be your hidden ticket to a richer life. But before I reveal the full story, and the stunning price this coin can sell for, let me take you back to where it all began. It was 1957. America was booming, families were growing, and pennies were being minted by the millions, but among the ordinary copper coins rolling off the machines, something unexpected happened. The Philadelphia Mint, unlike Denver or San Francisco, traditionally did not stamp a mint mark. So, when you see a 1957 penny without a mint mark, it simply means it came from Philadelphia. That part isn't the rare part, but here's the twist. Not all 1957 no-mint pennies were created equal. Some were struck with extreme die pressure, creating razor-sharp detail. Others were double-struck, had rare die clashes, or were minted using older dies that introduced rare, almost ghost-like errors in the design. These subtle anomalies are invisible to most, but priceless to trained eyes, and that's where this story gets interesting. That in 2022, a pristine 1957 no-mint wheat penny with a rare die alignment error sold for $1,000,000 at a private auction. Not on TV. Not in the news. Quietly. Behind closed doors. Why? Because collectors and dealers knew the value, but didn't want the world catching on. That penny didn't look special. That it didn't shine. That it wasn't even part of a known set. That it was sitting in a retired man's coin folder for over 40 years. He'd almost given it away to his grandson. But one day, he stumbled onto a YouTube video, just like this one. And everything changed. Imagine that. A single coin, forgotten for decades, now funding a dream retirement in Florida. How many others are still out there? How many will be thrown away, lost, or overlooked forever? Did you know that some 1957 wheat pennies have a doubled, "In God We Trust," or a misaligned, "Liberty" stamp? These tiny imperfections can skyrocket their value, but only if someone notices. It's not about luck. It's about knowledge, and today, you're getting it. So now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have the right 1957 penny? Start by looking for a penny dated 1957 with no letter under the date. That's step 1. Then, check for sharp details, Lincoln's hairlines, the wheat stalks, even the spacing of the letters. Are there any doubling effects on the words? Any minor cracks or irregular stamps? These are not defects, they're treasures in disguise. Next, check the back of the coin. Some valuable versions show a slightly off-center strike or a thickness in the lettering that's hard to explain. Once you found a potential candidate, don't clean it. Don't polish it. And don't post a blurry photo online. These coins must be preserved exactly as they are to hold their value. Instead, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give it an official grade, and that can be the difference between $5 and $1 million. If you're unsure where to start, visit local coin dealers, trusted coin forums, or auction houses with a history of penny sales. You never know, your coin might just be the one they've been waiting for. Because here's the truth most people ignore: this isn't just about coins. It's about legacy. It's about turning something forgotten into something unforgettable. It's about providing for your family, giving them a life you never thought possible, from something as small as a penny. So go check. Dig into your drawers, your jars, your childhood piggy banks, because sometimes, the path to a better life starts with 1 cent, and who knows, your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now.